Hello to one and all present here. My name is Srijani Bhadri, and today I will be introducing you to someone who is an amazing author and has extensive experience in enterprise technology, consulting, and advisory businesses at the same time. He is a thought leader in data as well as artificial intelligence, and he holds an influential position in Accenture. He is a very well respected author in fiction and non-fiction as well. How cool is that? Please welcome Mr. Sourabh Mukherjee, an inspiring leader in the field of data technology in artificial intelligence. It's a pleasure and a delight to have you with us here today, sir.
Thank you, Srijani. I think that's a very flattering introduction, and I'm very happy that you have undertaken this initiative uh, for running an entrepreneurship club in your school. So, my best wishes for that. Very happy to be here today.
Thank you so much. To begin the conversation, could you please describe your journey and key experiences that led you to your leadership roles at Accenture, IBM, and Computer Associates?
Sure, sure. So I did my schooling from South Point High School in Kolkata, and then I did my engineering in electronics and telecommunication from Jadavpur University. Right after I completed my engineering, I took up a job in software service in those days. So we are talking of late 90s when the IT was a big deal. And so I started my journey as a software engineer. Some of my early life experiences were in companies like Wipro and IBM Global Services and Infosys. And from there, my journey started. And as sort of we evolved in our career, I moved on from being software programmers to project managers, and then on to higher leadership roles in different organizations. And I ended up working for companies like Computer Associates, Cognizant, and then Accenture. I was back in IBM again for a second stint, and right now I'm with Accenture. My association with Accenture has been for almost 12 years now. So that has been my journey in a nutshell.
Wow, that is definitely a roller coaster of different companies,
It is.
positions. Wow. So, what exactly motivated you to transition to Accenture, and what excites you the most about this current role?
Right. So I think a few things. One is, obviously Accenture is a great organization to work in. And in my current role, where I am in the role of an advisory or a consultant in the data architecture and artificial intelligence space, it gives me an opportunity to interact with a lot of our clients right at the front end. So I do a lot of hands-on front-end consulting and strategy work with a number of Accenture clients, which I find very exciting. And I think that has been a key motivation. And the other very interesting thing about Accenture is that it offers me a great opportunity to keep on learning because technology is changing very fast these days, and you always have to be on a learning curve. And Accenture as an organization puts a lot of significance, a lot of importance to that how you are continuously learning and continuously growing. So that's another thing that I really like about my current organization and my current role.
Wow, I think that is very inspiring, and that probably boosted my morale as well when I was thinking about the service industry as a career. So,
Right.
like you mentioned, you are, of course, a lifelong learner, something which
Yes.
us aspire to be. So, and you also work at the front end. So, how exactly do you believe data, AI, and how do all these play an important role in driving business growth? And how do you believe companies should approach it these days?
Right. So I think, see, as you must be reading everywhere and as you must be observing as well, there is a huge emphasis on how a business optimizes its operations in a most effective manner. And when I say optimization, it can come through in a variety of ways. It could be how you make your operations more streamlined, how you make sure that you are more focused on customers, right? And customers today, like you and me, can be very demanding. Our expectations from different businesses have really gone up over the last few years, especially post COVID. I think we have got used to a certain kind of lifestyle, and we have a lot of expectations from online services and how effective and efficient those services are. So businesses will have to meet those kinds of demands and expectations from customers. And artificial intelligence is actually helping businesses in a big way because it's helping businesses, be more predictive. It allows businesses to automate a lot of their actions and make sure that the customer experience improves in a significant manner. For example, when we go to any online shopping site today, right? So there are lots of recommendations that are made based on our own purchasing behavior as well as what the larger community is purchasing on the online store, for example. Similarly, when you go to a platform like Netflix, for example, there are always recommendations based on your viewing pattern and what is very popular on the platform, right? So there are a lot of these predictions that are happening, which is improving customer experience. It's also helping in retaining customers, helping businesses also. And so these are a lot of the external facing use cases. And also internally, there are a lot of automation that's happening. Businesses are running more in a more streamlined manner. So that's all. And there's and AI has a big role to play in that, AI and generative AI and all of that. But what I always tell my customers is that, for AI to be effective or for generative AI to be effective, you need a very strong foundation of data because all of these use cases that we talked about, the examples that we discussed, for example, right? So how do you make predictions to customers? How do you make recommendations to customers? You have to first have complete information about the customer and his or her behavior, right? And which is nothing but the data that you collect. So, and today you collect data in a number of ways, right? You collect data not only through your enterprise applications, but you're also capturing data through mobile phones. You are capturing data through social media. You are capturing data from IoT devices. So there are different sources of data that are coming into an organization, and an organization will drive the maximum value only when it knows how to properly capture and store and process and govern the data, and how you use the data for artificial intelligence, for example. So that's the answer to your question, and that's where data and AI will come together to make businesses operate in a more effective manner. That's what I believe.
Definitely, definitely. I think that is something which most businesses have to look at, even small and growing businesses, when they have to foster growth. I think that's
Absolutely.
very enriching answer. So, like you mentioned, now companies collect data like everywhere in every way possible, and they often integrate it with artificial intelligence. But
Right.
recently, I have been reading in a lot of newspapers about the balance of data processing, AI, and ethical and government requirements. And
Yes.
several people are saying they should not collect data like this, or data should not be processed in this manner. So, what is your
Right.
take on this issue, and how do you believe a company can maximize its data usage but in an ethical way?
Right. I think this is a great question, and this is also, as organizations are trying to capture more and more data, and they are trying to make use of the data to more effectively run their businesses. I think this becomes a very critical consideration that you have to respect the privacy of data. You have to respect an individual's right to privacy, right? And there are a lot of countries, especially in the European countries, where there is already a regulation called GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation, which ensures that personally identifiable information or confidential data cannot actually be used uh, for business benefits by an organization, and an individual has the right to privacy. So this is a very critical consideration, and that's the reason why today there are a lot of solutions in the market which make sure that the confidentiality of data is protected while you are using data to run artificial intelligence use cases more effectively. There should be means by which you are able to mask or anonymize the data, or instead of using individual data, you sort of use aggregated data. So let's say you take an aggregated or an average behavior or an average data point, rather than using very individual data points which can easily identify a person, for example. And also so that's about the data part of it. And also I think on the AI part of it, there is this big focus today on responsible AI, and a lot of organizations are including Accenture, we put a lot of importance on responsible AI, and we make sure that all the AI solutions that we are building for our clients have a component of responsible and ethical AI built in that, so that you make sure that the way you design your AI models, the way you create your large language models and things like that, You make sure that there's an element of responsibility which is built within the AI solutions. So this is a very important criterion that every organization today will have to follow, and this is the most critical thing for every business to be careful about.
Wow, that is definitely a very everything encompassing answer. I especially like the idea of aggregating data because that never actually struck me because everybody's talking about masking data right now. But aggregate is actually a very, very good option. So now for the last question for today, through our conversation, through the huge amount of acclaim which you have on social media, and of course your novels on Amazon, I realized that you are an extremely well-rounded person, and of course a lifelong learner. And you also maintain a great balance between corporate life and, of course, your passion for writing. So, what advice would you give to aspiring students and candidates who are looking to make a mark in data and AI, but they also want to maintain their hobbies?
Right. I think, see, for me, this has always been very important that you manage your time and your life in general in such a way that you maintain the right balance. And so the see today, if you look at the work that I do, it is not just the job, but it's also a process of continuous learning. So while I have to do my day job, I also have to undergo trainings and courses. For example, over the last 1 year, I'll share this with you. So over the last year in fact, I went ahead and did as many as 6 different certifications in a lot of new technologies, right? And because you have to be on that whole continuous learning path, so it's almost the same as we used to do back in school and college days. So, staying up late and, getting ready for examinations, sitting for tests, getting certified. So that is a continuous process. And I think the one thing that I always tell, people who are getting out of colleges and who are getting into the industry today is that, you have to have that mindset. Do not assume even for a minute that, once you have done your engineering or once you have done your, bachelor's course, your education is complete. And so do not have that mindset. You need to know that you have to continue to do this for the rest of your life. Whether we like it or not, this is how the technology landscape today is, right? You have to be always on the learning curve because technologies are getting obsolete very fast, right? So that is very important. But having said that, it cannot always be only about, at least for me, and different persons would have different perspectives, but at least for me, you cannot always be focused only on that one thing, which is technology and your job and your clients and your consulting and strategy, which is all good. But you always have to make sure that you find time to pursue your passion, right? And that's where I think balancing time is very important. So for me, I think, thank you for all your kind words. But see, for me, what happened was I have always had a bit of a creative mind, and I had my interest in writing. I used to do that back in school and college as well, but I never did that in a very formal way. And I think about 10 years back, around 2014, 15, I wanted to give it a shot. I said, why, if I have stories to tell, why not reach out to publishers? Why not see, if I can get published? And, my first novel was published in 2015, which is about like 9 years back. And very interestingly, people liked it. There was a lot of appreciation. It got a lot of coverage in the media. And then, once that happens, you suddenly become more motivated. You say, okay, so there is appreciation for the work that I'm doing. So why not devote some more time to that? And I think that's how that journey started. So yes, I try and find time for it. After my work on weekends, or when I'm traveling. Uh, in fact, I write the most when I'm traveling. So basically, after a day's job, when I'm back in the hotel room, I'm away from the family, not much to do there. So that's when I'm most prolific, and I start writing a lot around those periods of time. So that's been going into very recently. What I also started doing was I have a keen interest in photography. So uh, I have been taking photographs for as long as I can remember, and then suddenly I realized that I have a whole bunch of nice looking photographs. And one fine day I thought, why should I keep all of these inside my laptop? Why don't I start pitching them for some exhibitions? And as luck would have it, right now I just did my ninth exhibition. I'm just actually coming back from one of the exhibitions today, where very interestingly, two of my photographs actually got sold. Right, so and so these are the kinds of things that keep motivating you, and that keep giving you a lot of confidence on your the creative aspect of your personality. So I think that's also important, and it's very important to maintain that balance. Otherwise, we'll all go mad. So that's important.
Wow, that's definitely something which is truly inspiring. I mean, I came in knowing that I'm going to be interviewing someone very important because that person maintains a balance between job and writing, but now photography. So that's like, wow. So I think it was very inspiring and it was a very enlightening conversation with you today, sir. And I think with you being a lifelong learner, I think we ourselves have learned so much. And the 6 courses will definitely motivate us to get past our next exam. So thank you so much for that motivating and inspiring conversation. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Srijani. Very nice talking to you. Thank you.